Everyone makes mistakes, and that includes everyone who employs an army of agents, managers and publicists just to avoid those mistakes. But when you're an A-list actor, your slip-ups are captured on film, projected 6 stories high and immortalised for criticism. All it takes is one box office bomb to blow up a star's reputation. Here are some actors whose careers were ruined by just one role. Sean Connery in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The original James Bond, Sean Connery, repositioned himself in the 90s as a versatile action hero with The Hunt for Red October and The Rock. And he even grabbed the title of People's Sexiest Man of the Century at age 69. In 2003, he returned as executive producer and star of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, adapted from the popular graphic novel series.
I'm waiting to be impressed.
The movie was a box office flop and a critical bomb, both shaken and stirred. Connery hasn't appeared in a movie since, officially announcing his retirement in 2005. Halle Berry in Catwoman. After her Oscar-winning performance in 2001's Monsters Ball, Halle Berry could have had any role she wanted. Unfortunately, what she wanted was Catwoman. The 2004 Batman kind of spin-off nearly swept the Razzies, and Berry took most of the fallout, with the Arizona Republic even suggesting she return her Academy Award. Instead, Berry returned to a diminishing role as Storm in the X-Men film series, and has all but disappeared from leading roles. Cuba Gooding Jr. in Boat Trip. Cuba Gooding Jr. rose to fame in 1991 as the lead in Boys in the Hood, a movie so important that it's in the National Film Registry. He went on to win an Oscar for his work in Jerry Maguire, and continued rolling with As Good as It Gets, What Dreams May Come and Men of Honor. In 2002, however, he unleashed his first 2 starring vehicles, the family comedy Snow Dogs and the offensively horrible comedy Boat Trip.
Sex. That's all you ever think about. Sex, 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 sex. We'll take it.
Both were critical disasters, but at least Snow Dogs made money. With his credibility blown, Gooding only made things worse with later Razzie-nominated roles in Radio, Norbit and Daddy Day Camp.
What could possibly go wrong?
Of the 18 movies he released between 2008 and 2013, all but 5 went straight to DVD. Neve Campbell in Wild Things. Neve Campbell was inescapable in the late 90s, almost single-handedly sparking the 90s horror revival with Scream and Scream 2, earning herself 2 consecutive Best Female Performance wins at the MTV Movie Awards, the cover of Rolling Stone and an SNL hosting gig. But Campbell shed her good girl image, and most of her clothes, for the embarrassing erotic thriller Wild Things. Her career never recovered. Campbell clung to the Scream franchise for 2 more sequels in 2000 and 2011, but otherwise toiled on studio clunkers like 3 to Tango and second-rate indie flicks like When Will I Be Loved. She resurfaced in 2016 for a part on House of Cards. Maybe that will finally get her back on track. Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3. From critically acclaimed performances in Steven Soderbergh's Traffic and P.S., to starring roles in Win a Date with Ted Hamilton and In Good Company, former That 70s Show star Topher Grace seemed poised for full-time movie stardom. Then he signed on to play Venom in Sam Raimi's overwrought Spider-Man 3.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
Although the movie was still a blockbuster, Grace's performance was loathed by fans. He still found roles in Predators and Interstellar, but Spider-Man 3 diminished Grace's viability as a leading man. Still, at least he wasn't the worst thing about the movie. Kevin Costner in Waterworld. At one point, Kevin Costner was one of the biggest movie stars in the world. He put together a string of huge successes, including Field of Dreams, The Untouchables, Bull Durham, The Bodyguard, and Dances with Wolves, which earned him 2 Oscars. He could seemingly do no wrong. But when Costner put his clout behind the high-concept dystopian action flick Waterworld, he ended up in over his head. A notorious production nightmare that barely made any money due to its engorged budget, it also took a critical flogging.
Happy now.
Since then, it's been hit or miss at best for Costner. He still turns in strong performances in small dramas like 13 Days and Open Range, and occasionally appears in supporting roles in blockbusters like Man of Steel. But his own days as a top-tier leading man seem to have sunk to the bottom forever with Waterworld. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.